In example 4.6, it says use the graph of f, and f is defined for us as the cubic function and we're supposed to use that to obtain the graph of h of x, and I can see that h of x is also a cubic function, but there is a negative attached to this x. We can interpret that as a multiplication by -1. So this multiplication by -1, I already know has to be interpreted as a reflection of the original picture. But the question remains, which reflection will it be? Is it over the y-axis? Is it over the x-axis? So that all depends on where the multiplication of -1 occurs. So in this case, the multiplication of -1 is directly attached to the x. So this is, by definition, go back and look at the definition if you need to, reflection over the y-axis. So let me go ahead and get a picture of f, my cubic function. I'll label that as f. And we're supposed to take this picture and reflect it over the y-axis. So I'm going to treat this a lot like I did example 4.5, where we did a x-axis reflection. I'm going to put a dashed line right on top of the y-axis, and this is going to represent my axis of reflection. Now, something that I'll mention here that I didn't on the last example was any point that is on the axis of reflection is not going to go anywhere. So the origin point on f is the only point that is on the axis of reflection. So that particular point is not actually going to go anywhere. So I'm going to use a pink this time to show that that point is it's different but the same. It's going to be used for this new graph, but it's not moving its position. It's in the same place. So now I want to look at another key point. So let's say that I look at the point at 1, 1. Let me highlight that point there, 1, 1. And I'll recognize that that point is exactly 1 unit to the right of my axis of reflection. So if I want to reflect it, I'm going to have to go to the opposite side. So it's going to end up being over here 1 unit to the left of the y-axis. So I'll get 1, 1 to move over here to -1, 1. Same idea would apply for my point at 2, 8. This point is exactly 2 units to the right. So if I reflect it, it's going to then go 2 units to the left, and that's going to put me right here at -2, +8. Apply the same idea for all the points that are in the third quadrant on f. Reflect them over into the fourth quadrant. And then I will connect the points to make it look like, let me try that again. I want to try to make it look like the cubic curve, but it's just been reflected over the y-axis. And I label it G, that's an automatic reaction, I need to pay attention. It's actually H.